Hello everyone, this is vickieverlie. Thank you so much for joining me for your monthly Tarotscopes. These monthly mini readings offer a glimpse into what it's really like to have a personal consultation with me. A private reading is much more personal and in-depth. I psychically tune into your energy and get visions and impressions that are specific only to you. If you would like to order a personal reading from me, or check out some of the other products and services that I offer, you can do so by checking out the link below. And now, without further ado, on to the reading. Scorpio. Hello Scorpio, this is vickieverlie, the Rock and Roll Prophetess. Thank you for joining me for your April 2014 Tarotscope. And before I could even get a good shuffle on, cards are coming out, fast and furious here. Okay, let's take a look. There's actually some nice cards showing up for you guys. Let's see, I think I need one or two more. Okay, I think this about sums it up. Well, you know, it's interesting that we have two of the journey cards here. So, I mean, that could be literally you are going to be traveling, or you are going to be, you know, journeying somewhere, going somewhere, taking a trip. I was going to say tripping. I want to before, though, I mean, that's, like I said, that could be an actual thing. These two cards kind of flew out together before I was even ready, so I think I want to focus over here first. This card, besides being actual travel, it definitely is a card of a transition. And it's always coming out of the turbulent water and going into the smoother sailing, or leaving this turbulence behind, this turbulent water, and going through the smoother sailing. And on this card, I always want to look at what is it leaving behind, what's over here, and then what are you going towards, what's over here. So what you're leaving behind is Moon in reverse. So I want to say you're really going to have some clarity here, Scorpio. You're really going to get some clarity. Moon in reverse is a card of not being in your right mind. For you astrologers out there, it's kind of like the negative side of Neptune. Now, in a positive way, you know, it's like you're not quite in reality with the moon. In a positive way, you can be very psychic and spiritual. You can be it would be transcending reality, like rising above it. In a negative way, and the moon is in reverse, the number one thing about that is somebody who's abusing drugs and alcohol, because they're not in their right mind, they're not in reality, they're clouded because of, you know, the drugs and alcohol are clouding their clarity. Or somebody who is mentally ill, because they're not functioning in reality because of their mental illness. So this seems to be what you're leaving behind. So more than likely it's another person, but hey, maybe some of you have said, you know, recognize, hey, maybe I'm drinking a little too much and I want to curtail that, or, you know, cut back. I mean, it could be a lot of things. Whatever this is, you're moving away from it and you're moving forward. And the minute you do that, everything just seems to light up. I wanted to say something else, but when I first, and it's for Scorpio too, I don't know if this is actually it looks like a lobster. It's not. But for some reason, that thing stood out to me. This thing at the bottom here. It does look like a lobster. I haven't really noticed. I always notice the two dogs on there, because that actually looks like my wolf dog and my Eddie. That always reminded me of Eddie and Merlin, my two dogs. So when I look at this card, a lot of times that's what pulls me in. I never even noticed that much. But there's some kind of lobster or some kind of crustacean. Let's just put it that way. There's this crustacean creature down here. And that, for some reason, stood out to me. So I mean, I don't know what it means necessarily, but maybe it means something to people out there, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. And the scorpion, and I know it's like a lobster, but the scorpion also has those, I don't know, not tentacles, what are those called, those pinchers or whatever, has that same kind of a thing on it. So something about that is standing out to me. Okay, so let's move on. So you're leaving that behind. Let's not focus on what you're leaving behind. Let's focus on where we're going, what's happening here. Got King of Swords. So that could be an actual person who may be an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, but we are having an eclipse. These air court cards have been popping up almost in every reading, and we are having an eclipse in Libra in an air sign. And that is occurring on the 15th of April, and I am going to get into that a little more a little later on. But this is gonna, it looks like it could be very favorable for you. It could be an opportunity. I feel this person does have an opportunity for you, whatever the case may be. And he's showing us King of Swords, so it definitely could be a man with gray hair or whatever. But I am getting the wise elder vibe about him. If this is a drug or alcohol problem, maybe this is your sponsor or your coach or your psychiatrist or your counselor. Or if this is somebody else that you're dealing with, maybe this is their... He's gonna help things get better. I feel more that it's really this stuff here is more, looks like, you know, career things. Six of Rods is a card of triumph and victory, and I guess, you know, if you're dealing with something like this, and it may not even be you, maybe it's somebody you love. This Moon in reverse. So if it's mental illness, maybe you find this great therapist, or if it's an addiction, maybe you find this great treatment center, and this is one of the counselors there. Maybe you just get some clarity. You're changing your path. You're changing your course, you know. Maybe you just get some clarity about, you didn't have a clear picture of what you're really getting into or what you wanted to do with personal relationships or whatever the case may be with you know, your career or your success. This is a card of big success here. But if, you know, you're having a drug problem and you kick it, that's a big success in your life, you know. Or somebody you love is, you know, you've been struggling and you get them on the right path. That's a big success in your life too. But it does look like there's going to be a big success with Six of Rods, and that's always a card of against all odds or against the odds. That there's a competitive vibration of the Six of Rods. Like this is the hero coming home from the war. He's a triumph in the war. He won the war, and he, you know, he's the chosen one. So, you know, on a very mundane level, if any of you are looking for a job, you find out you get the job. And again, with the rods, I would say it's before the 20th of April. Maybe if this is the case and you're looking for a job, you may have to relocate to take the job. But I'm not feeling like, oh, I'm so sad I have to relocate. I'm like, hey, when do we leave? You know, I'm packed. I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to moving on to this new thing here. Hierophant. Now that's like a big group or organization. Often this refers to, it's the establishment. It's like people are, it does refer to religion. Sometimes it refers to medical things again, institutions, things like that. Libraries, I want to say. And in this case, when I'm looking at this card today, those pillars are standing out to me. So you could take that literally. Maybe this, wherever this opportunity lies for you, there'll be a building with pillars like that, big marble pillars. But, you know, pillars. When you say pillars, you think of pillars of the community, you know, or whatever it may represent to you. I'm compelled to say the word pillars, so maybe that's going to ring some bells for you. The Fool is here in the upright position. That's like, take a chance, go for it, put yourself out there, give it a shot. You've got nothing to lose. You are going to be transitioning from some old paradigm into a new. Maybe it's a relocation, because sometimes when we do get more than one of the journey cards in the deck or in the spread, it means a physical change in location. But it's definitely if a change in your environment, in your state of mind, and it really is all for the better. So whatever you had some kind of, if this is you and you had some kind of wrong idea, or you had some kind of, I'm just feeling like this is also, there's depression surrounding this, which is associated with mental illness and drug abuse and all that stuff too. But it could have just been, maybe you were just in a funk. You've been in a funk, and then all of a sudden things kind of turn around and start popping for you. So some kind of big victory for you. This man there may be a man, an older man, who has something to do with it. He may be the guy who, if this is a job, he may be the guy who hires you. Says, hey, you got the job, can you move? And it's like, yeah, I can move. When do I have to leave? Again, I feel like you're excited about the move. It's not going to be anything. You have to go somewhere you don't really want to go. Okay, so let's have a look at this chart for you guys, Scorpio. So what I'm going to do is put the Scorpio on the ascendant. And again, I'm going to point out that the ascendant and the rising sign are the same thing. So if you do know your rising sign or ascendant, you definitely want to watch that video as well. So with, and there's 2 eclipses happening this month. Now these eclipses are very powerful. They're much more long-lasting than your typical new and full moon. They will last about 6 months, and they come in with a big burst of energy. It's a big burst of power. Okay, so the first full moon is the first is the full moon eclipse, and that's happening on April 15th, and it's going to be in your 12th house. 12th house is kind of Neptune's house, and moon, you know, that's all this, that is your psychic ability. But on a more mundane, it is dreams. I mean, you could get a dream too. Like, I would definitely be writing my dreams down while this stuff is occurring over here in Libra around the 15th. You could get a big dream, and some enlightenment could come through you through a dream, or just even through your own psychic flashes. That's what this the 12th house is. 12th house is also spirit guides and angels. So there's a good chance too that this person isn't even in the flesh. This could be some spirit guide or angel that's helping you. Although I'm feeling he's kind of in the flesh, but let's continue. So some kind of enlightenment, something that the eclipses usually are things that are going to be eclipsed out of your life. But in this case, I feel you're the one who's going to be doing it. It's not going to be taken from you. You're going to say, I'm done with this. And this is what's being eclipsed out. This uncertainty, this unclarity, this fog. And that's what's going out. So that's not a bad thing. Also, because the moon is in here and we're having eclipses, are events between the sun and the moon. Again, these eclipses are key dates for you, I feel. Okay, so then we're going to have a new moon eclipse, which is also always a new beginning. And that's going to occur on April 29th, and that's occurring in your 7th house of partnerships. So, you know, it definitely could be a new relationship, for sure. But the partnership isn't always romantic with 7th house. Not in any way. It could definitely be some kind of business partnership. This could be a business partnership. These two pillars, there's the two, you know, the two people together again, that was standing out to me. So a new association, a new partnership, I feel that it's going to be very beneficial. That's what I'm feeling about it. I'm feeling what the cards are showing, and just my vibe in general, I feel like this is going to be a nice month for you, Scorpio. Okay, so that about wraps up our little mini reading. That's sort of a glimpse into what it's like to get a personal reading with me. But of course, in a personal reading, I look at your chart and your planets, and we can really get a lot deeper, and we throw the cards just for you. I wanted to note, I've had several people asking about my deck. My deck is the Hanson Roberts, Hanson, Roberts, Roberts. I've used it for years and years. I've worn out probably 10 or more of these decks. I like the design on the back. It's sort of Celtic scrolly design, and I like the illustrations on the cards. And one of the other big pluses that I always liked about this deck, is why I've kept using it all these years, is as my primary deck. I have lots of decks, but I use this as my primary deck, is because the size of it. It's a nice size. It fits in your hand. It's very easy to put your hands around and grab and shuffle. It's not these big, giant, clunky cards. It's nice and compact, and I really like it. So people were asking me, so I thought I'd throw that in there at the end. Thank you so much for donating. You know, the donations make it possible for me to keep doing these videos, and I really do like doing them, and I appreciate all the donations. I appreciate everybody who's calling and writing for reading this. I enjoy meeting new people and doing readings for new people. Thank you for commenting and watching and sharing my videos and spreading the word. That's very helpful, and I really appreciate it. Remember that you are love and beauty incarnate. This is Vickieverlie, the Rock and Roll Prophetess, and I'll speak to you soon. What is Orgonite? Originally discovered in the 1930s by Wilhelm Reich, orgone energy, or etheric energy, is present in living things, including the human body. Reich proposed that illness occurs when our etheric body is out of balance, and that positive orgone energy could realign the etheric field, thus facilitating healing and balance of one's life force, chi or prana. It has since been scientifically proven that energy called piezoelectricity, meaning electricity resulting from pressure, is created by the compression of certain materials such as quartz crystals, wood, salt, sugar, ceramics, and bones. As the resin cures in an orgonite piece, it shrinks and compresses the organic matter contained within. The energy emitted creates a positive energy generator. You really can feel the energy coming forth from these pieces. Orgonite clears the air and neutralizes negative emotions as well as electronic clutter from our high-tech devices. Each Orgonite piece is lovingly hand-created using intuitive pairing of materials to enhance and raise vibration and aid in ascension and a spiritual awakening. I use materials from nature, including the bark from a sacred willow for grounding, and gold flakes to emulate the golden light basking down from the higher dimensions. Visit my Etsy shop for a wide selection of handmade orgone pieces, especially designed for spiritual growth, including heart opening, chakra alignment and activation, and more. Visit www.orgoneenergyflow.etsy.com